So being open to others is definitely important. It's how you navigate that, because sometimes you need to make a decision, and however there are other times where the decision that you have in your mind is not necessarily the best one. However, you have this thing, if you like, this bravado or this inflated sense of worth because you're the boss or you're in a leadership position. That means, no, I should know, and therefore we're going to do what I want. And you push through your own agenda, and that's not always, not often, the best scenario. So it's a question of working out when is it that you can make a decision, or you should make a decision about something, or when you should be open to, well, allowing someone else to make the decision, or when you should perhaps reassess what it is that you think is right and not necessarily feel the need to win and go ahead with, you know, someone else's view. I think the 47-year-old Brett is a much better version than the 25-year-old, and I was a prickly guy. I was certainly someone who didn't have an understanding of the impact I was having on others, and probably was too self-assured without without the substance to back it up. I think I just got to a stage in my life where I didn't understand why I wasn't achieving what I thought I could, certainly professionally. And I knew that there was a problem, I knew that there was a disconnect, but I never actually faced up to why it was there. And I had externalised it. The problem wasn't me, the problem was them. David did sit me down and said to me, Brett, I don't see you as progressing into that role. I don't see you as having the skills, or certainly the soft skills, that you would need. I remember going home that afternoon and talking to Vanessa, and it was pretty confronting. I was quite upset, like I was quite confronted and quite emotional about what he'd said. And I remember saying to her, something is wrong here. I don't know what it is, but I think I've finally realised that the problem is me. I made the decision to get some help, to get some professional advice. So I ended up approaching this guy called Simon, who was someone I knew through the kids at school. Our kids went to school together. And I ended up saying to him after a period of time, can you spend some time with me? So we did, and we ended up having breakfast every Friday once a month for 6 months. And Simon was amazing. I would talk to him about the things that I was feeling and what I was seeing, and he would basically say to me, can you not see how that is being received? And I would go, no. And he'd say, this is what you're doing. And I went, oh my goodness, I had no idea. On the back of that, I made what I would perceive as being some pretty small changes. I certainly opened myself up. I allowed myself to be more vulnerable. I showed more of myself. I was someone who, up until that point, very much had this facade of, I wouldn't have shown weakness, I wouldn't have shown uncertainty, regardless of what I was thinking or feeling. So I allowed myself to just show what I considered show more of myself. And the changes that I received from those I was working with were remarkable and very quick. The next thing was I became the head of sales with Pandora, and that was an amazing job, and I absolutely loved it. So I did that for probably 18 months anyway, and then out of the blue I got a phone call from FutureYou saying, are you interested in joining Swarovski? And anyway, and now I'm here. Simon would say to me, let's do a 30-day challenge where every day for the next 30 days you need to find time to actually find out something about someone you work with. Firstly, it's remarkable what you learn, but again, it's about building habits. And I constantly find myself now that I'll walk in and I'll engage with someone and I'll ask them a question. However, I will stop and I will pause and I will ask a follow-up question and actually show that I've listened to what they've said. And the difference that makes when you're in a leadership role is massive. Small change, huge outcome. If I was honest about my biggest regret, it was the fact that having some self-realisation took as long as it did. And I know that one thing I'm really passionate about now, and I certainly with my children, and even in the business, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why I am quite open about receiving feedback and very open about giving feedback and having open, is I don't want other people to wait until they're 40 years old to realise they have a problem. And if I can help them, I'm absolutely engaged to do that.